Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peter Devine, and I'm sitting in for Mike Sedek today. Today's webinar will be focusing on orientation to Lightspeed Trader 8.0, and it'll be moderated by Chris Nally, our product specialist. And Chris is going to be walking through basics about Lightspeed Trader and some important information that people should know about navigating around the windows and understanding how the different color schemes work, and a whole bunch of orientation information about Lightspeed Trader. We're delighted to have you join us today. The way the webinar works is that you'll have opportunities to ask questions through the chat box located on your window. And today's webinar, like many webinars, are recorded and archived for our website. You can see them through www.lightspeed.com/webinars. We give webinars every Wednesday, or most every Wednesdays around this time, and encourage you to sign up for future webinars that we have scheduled. So without any further ado, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague Chris Nally. Chris, take it away.
Thanks, Peter. Good afternoon, everybody. As Peter mentioned, we're going to go over a quick overview of the features of Lightspeed Trader. As you see right here on my screen, you'll see the main bar, or the index bar at the top. The index bar has been redesigned with the Lightspeed Trader 8.0. It has a whole new look and feel to it. You'll see, if you're not familiar with Lightspeed, or if you are familiar with Lightspeed Trader, it's kind of updated, a lot easier to see. Looks a lot more up to date on this new index bar. We also added some new features to the index bar. You'll see from the utilities menu, you have the ability to import and export your settings. Sum that up, that pretty much all that means is that you can keep your layout locally on your computer, as opposed to saving it only to the servers on your exit. So you have the ability to manage different layouts on your system. You also see we rearranged or added the ability to open all the windows from the new menu. We also reorganized all the icons so they're more in categorical order here. You also have a Windows menu, which we've had in the past, and something that's kind of nice and important in this is we added the help manual, a direct link from the help menu on the index bar. In addition to changing the index bar with Lightspeed Trader 8.0, we also added some enhancements in the optimization of quotes and executions. We added a 64-bit version that's available from the download page, which a lot of 64-bit machines out there now, so you should take advantage of that. We also added some new columns to the watch list, such as the previous volume or percent volume change. We added a column for circuit breaker. When that kicked in, you'll see N or an S, Y for yes or no. We added the ability to display different, I'm sorry, here it is, it's 2 decimal places. A lot of people requested that in the past, where we would show more than 2 decimal places. Now you have the ability to narrow that down to just 2 decimal places in any columned window. One other nice feature in here is on the About tab, you'll see that the version of Lightspeed is up to date. So if you were on an older version, a non-production version, you would be notified here that there is a more recent version, and it would go ahead and prompt you from this tab to click and update your version, and walk you through that very simply. One other option that's important to mention here is in the trading closeout settings. We added and updated different ways to close out. Excuse me, when you use closeout command from the right-click menu in your positions window. So if you were going to right-click on, say, for a New York stock and hit closeout, you have the ability to choose the different means to do that, the way that you want the order to be sent upon closeout. And that's also dependent upon where the symbol's listed. You have different options. All right, now moving on from the index bar, we'll go down to the, one more thing I want to mention on the index bar actually. You'll see the indices, the P&L, the exposure, the number of positions, the number of pending orders, the time, and some indices. You'll also see on the right-hand side where the mouse is now that you can click in that area and you can customize an index by, when you click the mouse, you'll see the text field come up, and then you can just click, type in the index of your choice, and it will be displayed in that section of the index bar. All right, we'll move down to one of the most important windows within Lightspeed Trader, which is the Level 2 quote window. This is in the bottom left-hand corner here on my screen. You'll see as I type in any other symbol and hit enter, it will load the symbol into the Level 2 quote window. This is very customizable. If you right-click, you can select the Level 2 skin. That will change the colors. From this menu, you have predetermined configurations to show the different levels and different colors within the Level 2 window. If there's nothing within this window in the default skin, you can go ahead and easily right-click and go to Level 2 settings, where you can customize the font, the background, and the foreground of every of the Level 2s. You can also, if you had multiple Level 2s, you can have the different color schemes for active versus inactive, meaning that the window that you have highlighted would have different color scheme based on the active Level 2 settings that you see right here, and the one that wasn't highlighted or active would be the inactive Level 2 window, which would take on the color scheme that you would customize in this list. You also have the ability to horizontally place your market maker price and quantity based upon whatever you're used to looking at in whatever order. You can also integrate the prints on the right-hand side of the window or get rid of that and show a separate time and sales window, which is offered through Lightspeed. You also have the ability to sort the quantity, price, and exchange on the prints also from the top right-hand corner here. One more thing you can do within the Level 2 is you can integrate the different ECNs. The direct quoter ECNs, you can choose to check or uncheck any of the direct connected ECNs that you'd like to see. And when checked, you can customize the amount of levels with this up and down arrow. For this example here, I'm going to choose to display everything, and we're going to show 30 levels depth on each venue that we have checked off. All right. From here, we'll move on to the Level 1 section of the Level 2 quotes window. That's right up here in the top of the Level 2. You'll see all the different elements that are available within the Level 1 field, like tier, high, low, last, close. By right-clicking and going to Level 1 settings, you'll see under the data fields list here all of the available data fields. There's a ton of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can go ahead and check out the ones that you wanted to add, and any one that you want to add, you would just simply click and drag it and drop it into the grid on the left-hand side. Excuse me. That will add it to the Level 1 area just like you see it within this grid. If you wanted to remove something, same thing. You drag it from the grid and drop it back into the data fields, and you'll see anything in the list that appears in yellow are those fields that are already in use on the left-hand side. So you'll know the ones in white are available and not in use at the current time. Then on the right-hand side, you can also see, kind of like the Level 2, where you can go ahead and customize the different colors for active and inactive background. You can also customize the labels, the data, the symbol, and the position for colors, and also you can change the fonts. All right. So moving on to the Level 1, from the Level 1, we'll go to the orders window. In the top left-hand corner, here's the orders window. You can see the different columns by right-clicking and choosing Change Columns. This is where you'll see all the information that pertains to any orders that you have on the market. Or, actually, let me start with this. From the display settings within the orders window, you can choose to show your active orders, executed orders, or canceled orders, or any combination of those by checking or unchecking those checkboxes. You also have the ability to colorize your orders based on status and order type. As you see on the grid on the right-hand side here within this configuration settings window, you can colorize by pending, partial fill, executed, or canceled, and also narrow that down by buy, sell, or short sell. If you wanted to change a color for any of these different order type or statuses, you would click on the color itself and change it to the appropriate color. If you wanted to go back to the defaults, you would just click this and it would start out exactly how it came out of the box. For this example, I'm just going to show active orders. That way in this orders window, when we get further into the demonstration, you'll notice that whenever that window is empty, we'll know that we have no orders on the market and nothing out there at that time. Then you can also, we'll go back to where the columns settings are. You'll see the list of available columns. You can highlight any of those available columns and click Add. That will add it to the bottom of the list. And then you can highlight it and rearrange it or rename it under the columns list here. With these up-down arrows to rearrange the columns in whatever order you want. And here's the way you can rename. In addition to that, you have the ability to go in and you can move columns around manually by dragging and dropping them in the place that you think that you'd like to have them. You can also resize columns like any other window with columns within Lightspeed. And if you didn't want to see a column anymore, you can right-click and remove the column. All right, we'll move down below here to the Messages window. The Messages window is a real useful tool. You'll see here, I haven't done much yet, but as we go on, you'll see different messages scroll through as we enter orders. This will also show when the market opens, extended session is open. It'll tell you when you're connected, or if you lose connectivity or some type of issue notification coming from the trade desk. You'll see the message scroll through to give you a heads up on anything that might be going on. But most important, you'll see anytime you enter an order, it will give you a notification that you entered an order with all of the parameters of that order, and then upon cancellation of orders or fills, you'll see for cancellations, you'll get a UR out once the order has been confirmed canceled, and upon fills, it'll tell you that you're opening a position or closing a position with the parameters of that specific execution. So it's definitely an important window. It's kind of the first place you look to when you have a question or you're not sure what happened with an order, or you had a pending order, it's not there. You'll look and see what happened. It could have timed out, and it'll give you the UR out within the messages window. All right, we're going to go down here to the Hot Buttons window. There's multiple uses for the Hot Buttons window. You'll see right here the first Hot Buttons window with the ARCA Buy Market tier, ARCA Sell Market tier, and the Cancel All Orders button. I pre-configured this to show you guys how you can actually send orders from the Hot Buttons. You can actually, by right-clicking and choosing Add, you can choose any orders, cancels, functions, or pages command. We'll go ahead and I'll show you from the orders. By clicking on tier size orders, you'll see a list of all pre-configured orders that pertain to sending them for a tier size. Then you'll see closeout orders, closeout for the entire position orders, custom commands, cancel order keys. You can add any of these pre-configured commands to a Hot Buttons window and then just simply click the mouse to send the order of the specific command. In this example, I already went in and I added the ARCA Buy Market tier. I customized the color for the buy key to be a green color, and for the sell key, I changed it to a red color. I just clicked on that color and selected red. And for cancels, I just made it a blue so it would offset from the buy and sell colors. Now, anytime you wanted to send an order from that Hot Buttons window, you would just click on, you would have a symbol in your level 2, the Hot Buttons window. If I would click ARCA Buy Market tier, you'll see it's going to send an order for my tier size, which I have set for 100. So it'll send an order for 100 shares through ARCA to buy this ARCA offer at $16.75. So here I go. Click the button. You'll see it gets added to my orders, showing that this has been pending order to buy on ARCA. It's a day order for 100 shares at the market. And you'll see in my messages window that I mentioned before that as I enter that order, you'll see the messages window display all the details of that order as it's pending in the state it's in right now. Now, since this is in simulation, it's waiting for a print to go ahead and go off before this will fill my market order. Once that will happen, hopefully sometime here in the next minute or so, if it doesn't get filled, you'll see I'll be able to cancel it. But if that was to get filled, you'll see this order box orders window will go empty, showing that I have no more orders pending, and you'll see that the positions show up in my positions window to the right here. The positions window works just like the orders window. The same way that you go ahead and customize all of the orders columns, you can do the same thing in the positions window. Right-click, and you can go to either settings or change columns, and you'll see in the display you can show closed, hidden, or phantom. You can actually hide some positions if there's something you don't want to watch all day, something that you might be holding and you don't want to focus on that, you can hide that. You could also have phantom positions in there, which are kind of dummy positions. If you're unfamiliar, you can add like a dummy trade just so you can kind of track that stock's P&L from where you might have wanted to get in or something along those lines. You could also choose for the positions window to summarize the positions, kind of like show a total at the bottom. You could have it show at the top or the bottom by checking or unchecking this box. And back to where we mentioned before, the columns, same thing as with the orders window, all the available columns and the ones on the left are the columns in use. If anything you wanted to add over to be displayed, you would just highlight it, click Add, you'll see it move over. You can rename it or rearrange it with these arrows or the rename field at the bottom. All right. As this order is still pending, I'll switch it to another stock in a minute here just to see if we can get a fill if something's going on. But I'm going to go ahead. I can click this Cancel All Orders button, and you'll see that that just canceled my order. I have nothing pending right now, as we mentioned earlier. And you'll see in the Messages window we got a "You are out" on that Cisco order that we just entered. Same thing with the sell side. If I would click the ARCA Sell Market, the order would go in. It would go ahead and sell against my long position. And let's see here, just like that right here, it's going in as a short sell. And for 100 shares day on ARCA. And I'll cancel that one too, since it's not trading right now. We're not going to be able to see a fill in that. Let's see. All right, on the right-hand side here, we see the account summary window. It's pretty self-explanatory. The account summary window shows your P&L, your equity, your number of open positions, your number of pending orders, and you can also customize that if you right-click and choose Change Rows. You can choose any available element from this list, highlight it, click Add, and it will add it to the list of elements within the account summary. You can also rearrange them and show them however you want. For any of these windows that we went over, you can actually have multiple windows if you feel necessary. You might want to have a positions window that shows your flat positions to see what you've done all day, and then have another window that shows all of your open positions or executions you can have in there. So you have multiple uses the way you customize any of the positions windows or even orders windows. I'll give you an example for the orders window. If I went into the L Lightspeed icon in the top left corner of the orders window, I can click it and go down to clone. That'll actually open up another window, the same exact window that I chose to clone within that menu. Or I can just go to New and choose Orders from the index bar menu. So once I have the orders window up, I'll go ahead and go in to change display. And in this window, instead of showing active orders, I'm going to show canceled orders. I could show canceled and executed, for example. And this is a list of actually any order that's not active, just orders that I entered so far on the day that are no longer active. So I can also sort by any column. You'll see that I'm sorting by time right now, most recent time at the top. If I click it again, it's going to unsort, and if I click it back, you'll see I'm sorting by the oldest order at the top. I could also do that by symbol. If you have a whole list of different stocks you traded and you want to focus on whatever symbol, put them in order, you can also sort by symbol. Okay. So moving on from there, we'll go to the watch list. The watch list is right here. A couple watch lists I have here. This one I have set up with just some equity symbols in there. Watch list is just a window that you can customize a list of stocks, and you can track the different data on those specific symbols that you customize. You can also add columns by right-clicking and choosing Change Columns again, kind of just like those other windows we went over. You'll see all the different data elements that you can track within the level 1. You can also choose imbalance information, net change information, information on positions, pre-opening indications, time and sales. You can also customize by color, so you'll be able to tell if you want to have the color based on tick, up or down tick. You'll see colorized either red or green, for instance. So if I did go in there and go to change columns and I wanted to add the, let's see, we'll go to change, and I wanted to do net change, it would be, let me see here, sorry, here, Change columns. Change from high. I could do change from low, and you'll see those fields appear. You can also sort by any of these columns within the watch list, just like all the other columned windows. If I wanted to add stocks on the fly, I can just click in that window and make it active. Then I would just continue to type a symbol, F, enter, enter forward. You'll see it gets added to the list. If I wanted to remove a symbol, I would just click on it, right-click, and click remove. So that pretty much is pretty easy, self-explanatory for the watch list. And you'll also see I have another watch list here below, which is I have indices listed, ETFs and stocks. So you can also do that. You can segregate or different sectors within a watch list, or you can also make multiple watch lists with whatever symbols for a sector or a specific stock group that you care to watch. You can all customize. All right, the next window here to the left is the ticker alert window. This is a scrolling display of new highs and lows. If you right-click and go to the settings, or if you select change filter, you'll see all the different options that you can filter the ticker alert by. You can filter by highs and lows, by checking or unchecking. Same thing with all the different markets. Whatever's checked, you'll be displaying within the ticker alert window. You can also scroll from the top or from the bottom. You can select the price range, minimum price to maximum price, filter, and also volume. You can also, in the right-hand section here, you can include or exclude certain symbols within the ticker alert. Next, we have the risers and fallers here in the bottom right-hand corner. The risers and fallers just shows the stocks in the market that are up the most or down the most on the day. By right-clicking in there and going to settings, you also can see all the different filter options that you have for the risers and fallers, minimum to maximum prices, also volume, minimum volume, I guess. You can include any of the specific exchanges by checking or unchecking from that list. You can choose your refresh time within the risers and fallers. Also, always display certain symbols or never display certain symbols. You can also add net change or inside market or percent change. For the fallers, for most active, you can also choose the volume or last price. Then again, you can also, from the design, you can change the font, and by clicking on the font selection, you can customize the font size or the font type. All right, bring that back down, and we'll move on to the charts. Here's a Lightspeed chart. I'm going to make it bigger so we can see here. All right, the chart's real easy to use and easy to customize. If you right-click within a chart, you'll see the different studies that you can choose. If you right-click and choose studies, it'll bring you right to the studies tab in the configuration settings. If you want to set up a study, you'll see, if you drop down under the Add Study menu, you'll see the different studies that are available within the Lightspeed chart. Exponential moving averages, time series moving average, volume-weighted moving average, relative strength index, stochastics, pivot lines, Fibonacci. You'll see them all listed here under studies, MACD. If you wanted to do a comparison chart, actually to compare any symbol to the current symbol that's in there, you would choose comparison chart. For example, you would choose the symbol. Say if I wanted to compare to SPY, I would choose the color, the line, style, and width, and hit add. Let me see here. There we go. So now I just added a comparison chart for SPY. So anything, you'll see the green is the SPY compared to whatever symbol that I have in my active level 2, because since I have this chart linked, as I change Intel, we'll move it to Apple, and you'll see the comparison of Apple, which is the blue line, to the SPY's green line. You also can customize the time frames within the chart, and these buttons you'll see at the bottom. They're shortcut buttons that you can customize to quickly snap from one time frame to another within the same chart. On here, you'll see that I have Intraday 5. Intraday 5 will show a 5-minute line chart 1 day back for the market hours only. You'll see that I have an intraday 1 minute for that specific day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I have another one set here for 2-minute chart 60 days back, 60 bars back, excuse me. You'll see you can choose either bars or days back. This is just for market hours only. Actually, you'll notice also as you go and select the 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., you'll see that the closing period after the close for every specific day shows up with this shaded color, and then you'll see the next pre-market color shows up with this greenish tint to it, so you can offset the after hours and pre-market by the shaded sections within the chart. So you'll see those disappear as I change to market only. Now, as I add any of these from the period, if I wanted to add something like a weekly chart and go 52 weeks back, and then I want to name that 52 week, I'd hit add, and now you'll see that that 52-week button has been added to the bottom. So without having to go in and configure different chart parameters, I can go ahead and just click the buttons at the bottom, and you'll see it will change the chart to the different parameters that I customized within the chart settings. You'll also see under the excuse me, let's see here. You'll see under the display the different different information that you can choose. You can show the X-axis, Y-axis labels. You can show the colorized plot summaries, the price, the change, the bid, ask, and volume. One other thing that's nice, you can right-click and show any different. You could draw lines. So say I would choose array. I would choose it, click it, and then set it however I wanted with another click. Right-click, say lines, and just say segment. I would click it and draw another line. And if I wanted to go ahead and remove the lines, I'd right-click, go to lines, delete last, or delete all, and it would get rid of those for you. All right. Another thing I feel is important to mention is the linking of windows. By default, most of the windows that you need linked are automatically linked to the active level 2 window within Lightspeed. You'll see if I opened up another level 2 and typed another symbol, as I go from one window to the other, you'll see the chart will automatically change. Other windows that are automatically linked are things like the time and sales window, which I'll open right here. Where are we at here? Time and sales. That's automatically linked if instead of having the time and sales window, or in addition to having the time and sales show up within your level 2, you can also have it in a separate window, and that will automatically switch from based on whatever active level 2 quote window that you're in, just like the chart will. Now, if you choose to not link any of the windows and you just want to say if you wanted to type in SPY and watch anything that all trades in SPY alone for the time and sales, you can go down under link and choose unlink, and then just type in the symbol that you want to show. And now as you change the window in, the symbol in your active level 2 box, it will not link and change your time and sales. You see the time and sales state is SPY. So that's kind of nice too if you wanted to do just have a chart linked for your level 2 quote window, and then go ahead, let me say I'd clone that, have a new chart, and I want to just watch, let's just say SPY, and go ahead and link, I'll unlink it. Let me retype the symbol, and that will be I'll be able to watch that chart without having it change every time I change a level 2. So that gives you a quick rundown on how linking works within Lightspeed. One other thing that I want to mention on this, kind of on the same thing here related, you have the ability to manage different pages within Lightspeed, so it's kind of like a different screen space that you can have different layouts on. For this example, you'll see that I have a layout that has options windows on one and equities on another. I just toggled over to the options window, and you'll see by going to page 0, which is my default equities page, and then by going to page 1, it goes over to my options page. Now I also have a hot buttons window that helps me with that toggle. Instead of going to the file menu, I have the ability to just go from options to my equities page with the click of a mouse in a hot buttons window. One nice thing that's worth mentioning in relation to the different pages is you have the ability to click on the Lightspeed icon on any window and choose lock from the menu. Now that'll go ahead and allow you to that'll lock that specific window to every page. So for this layout, I have some windows like account summary and this level 2 quote window locked. So as I click from options, my equities page to my options page, you'll see that the account summary window and the level 2 quote window stay on both of those pages, which makes me not have to recreate those on every single page if I'm going to utilize them in the same space on all my different pages. All right, so now we'll go back to the equities page. We'll go over the different ways that we enter orders, the different order entry windows within Lightspeed. Right here above the level 2 quote window, we have the order entry window. This is the point and click mouse way that we enter orders. This window also by default is linked to the active level 2 quote window. As you see, I'll change the symbol back to SPY, and you'll see the order entry window links and changes to SPY also. This is pretty self-explanatory also. This window shows all the information that's going to pertain to the order that you're going to enter. Gives you the ability to change the share size, up and down arrow. You can also click in and type 200, however, and hit enter on the keyboard. We'll change the share size for you. You could also edit the limit price with the up and down arrows, or click the type in a price. You can click to change the different market that you'd like to use and the different order type. Will come down with from the drop down. You could choose the type of order. You could also choose your visible size in the order entry window, the time and force. You could choose buy or sell. By right-clicking and clicking settings, you can also add a go button. I think by default the go button is actually part of this window. A little bigger here. So now when you add the go button, you have the ability to highlight buy or sell. Whichever is highlighted and you hit go, it's going to send an order with the parameters that you selected. So for this example, say I wanted to do 100 shares of SPY. The inside bid and ask are actually tracking the inside bid and ask of level 2. If I wanted to change my limit price to the inside bid, I would go ahead and click inside bid, and you'll see my price changed to 133.14, which is the inside bid. Then if I wanted to say put a penny below the bid order in, I would down click 1 penny. I chose my market as ARCA limit. I'm going to display my 100 shares as a day order. I'm going to make it a buy order. As I hit go, you'll see that it just entered that order in SPY to buy 100 at 133.13. Then I can either right-click on that open order if I want to cancel. I can either click in my hot buttons window if I have that configured, or I can click a keyboard command that I map to cancel the order. In addition to canceling from the right click, you can also choose modify. By choosing modify, it'll bring up another order similar to the order entry window. It'll load that automatically with the parameters that were already sent in the first order that I'm modifying. Then I can go ahead and make the modifications. So if I want to bid down another penny and click modify, you'll see that this order will be canceled and replaced with a 12-cent bid as I click modify. So, and then you'll see within the messages window, as I entered that order, I was out on the 13-cent bid, and then I put another 12-cent bid, and the order modification is complete. Now I'm going to go ahead and cancel that order, and you'll see that I'm out on that order too. All right. In addition to the order entry window, you have the ability to map any of the commands to the keyboard. I'll go into the configuration settings, and you'll see the keyboard tab. The keyboard tab, now you'll see all the different buttons on the right-hand side, similar to when we were going over the hot buttons window that pertain to orders. Under the tier size orders, here's the list of pre-configured orders that will go for your tier size. Then you also have the closeout orders up to tier, close out your entire position, and a bunch of other order types. By clicking this, you'll see on the appropriate checkbox, you'll see the orders that are pre-configured for that section there. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you. I already mapped a couple keys. I mapped a ARCA by bid tier. I mapped that to, actually, you know what, I'm going to unmap these. I'll show you how I mapped them real quick. See how easy it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I check tier size orders, and here's an ARCA bid tier command. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to map that to, I want to map that to my Shift Q, which is what I use to enter a bid. So I'll click the Q on my keyboard, and you'll see the Q comes into focus on the left-hand side. These are the available keys, or the keys that are already mapped on this left-hand side. So here's the S for Shift with the Q. It's an available key, so I'll hit Map, and you'll see now I just mapped the ARCA bid tier to Shift Q. Now I'm going to go ahead and map the ARCA offer tier. I'm going to highlight that, and I want to make that the Shift P command. So I'll click the P on my keyboard, and you'll see that it comes into focus. You'll see the Shift P is an available command. I'll click Map, and now you'll see that the ARCA offer tier is mapped. One thing that you'll notice here from these available keys, there's ARCA bid tier and ARCA buy tier. The difference between those two, the ARCA bid tier is an order that will go in, and that's going to initialize the order pop-up box to the bid price, where you can go ahead and edit the price before you hit enter and send the order. Now the ARCA buy tier is going to just go ahead and try to buy at the inside market at the offer price. It's going to go ahead and be a little more aggressive than entering a bid with the bid tier key. But for this example, I'm going to go ahead and set up, show you how the bid and offer tier keys work. And then I'm going to go ahead, you'll see I'll go into the cancel order keys. All of the cancel keys will be listed here that are available. I'm going to go ahead, I'll map cancel all. I'm just going to map that to say F12. So I'll click the F12 on my keyboard. It is an available key. I'll highlight it and click map, and you'll see that the cancel all has been mapped. Now if I check sort, you'll see it'll bring all of the commands that have been mapped on my keyboard to the top of the list. And then you'll see below it all of the available keys. So as we mentioned earlier, Shift Q is my ARCA bid tier. Shift P is my ARCA offer tier, and then I have F12 mapped to cancel all. So as I hit OK and go out of the configuration settings for the keyboard, I'll go and enter the symbol that I want to place an order in. So we'll use Cisco for this example. I'm going to hit Shift Q, and you'll see it initializes the order pop-up box right here. As we mentioned earlier, since it's a bid tier key, it's going to open up the box initializing to the bid price, which is 16.69. For 100 shares of Cisco. You'll see the next field right here is for the display size, which I'm choosing to show my full display size, and it's going to show me the venue that I'm going to send the order to, which is ARCA. Now by hitting enter, well, first of all, let me mention, I can hit left arrow or right arrow, and I have that set up to increment and decrement by 1 penny. If I wanted to go ahead and put a 65-cent bid in, I would left arrow or right arrow over to the 65-cent bid and hit enter. You'll see the order goes into the market at 16.65 for 100 shares on ARCA in Cisco as a day order, time and force. Now I can hit the F12 to cancel, and you'll see the order's out. So I never had to touch the mouse there to do anything. I was able to Shift Q, arrow down to 65, hit enter, orders on the market, F12, orders out. Same thing with the offer key. Shift P, you'll see it initializes the order pop-up box to the offer price. If I wanted to go a few pennies higher, I'd right arrow over, say 77 or 78 cents. I would go ahead and hit enter. You'll see the offer out on the market to short sell Cisco at 17.68. F12, orders canceled, nothing pending, and you'll see that I am out through the messages window. Now, one other neat thing that you'll see as we were in the configuration settings for the keyboard, since there's so many different venues and different orders that you can send, to simplify it, there is an easy way, which I have set up already here. It's under the Increments tab in the settings under ECN pop-ups. Now, that ECN pop-ups is is that window that I had set up once I hit the Shift Q, and it brought up my ARCA bid tier command. Now, instead of going and having to map venues that I might want to trade or send orders to, such as New York, ARCA, EDGE, NASDAQ, BATS, EDGX, I went into this list of ECN scroll, I highlighted them, and I hit Add, and I made this list, and I choose Repeat Command, ECN Scroll. That means as I initialize a box with Shift Q, it initializes to ARCA, which was the command was set to. Now, as I repeat the key, it'll go down that list and change the destination to whatever I have customized in that list. So instead of mapping a different command to all the different venues to put a bid in, I mapped one to Shift Q, and now every time I just repeat that key, it scrolls down the list to the different venues. So on that example, I scrolled down to EDGX, and you'll see that I was just able to enter an order on EDGX without having to map a whole set of EDGX keys. Now, once you set that list, it also works for every key. So as I initialize this offer key to ARCA, like we mentioned earlier, same thing as I repeat that command, Shift P, it goes through the same list as it does when I hit Shift Q for the bid side. So that's a quick shortcut to save you some, having 500 keys mapped all over your keyboard and getting confused with having to keep track of all that stuff. All right. I guess something else here I wanted to mention also, we have the ability to make custom orders. In addition to having all of these different commands within the keyboard settings, you have the ability to create some custom orders. Custom orders such as smart, super smart, or aggregate type. I'll show you quickly the super smart orders. So by selecting super smart from the drop-down, you go ahead and name that command. So say I'd name it buy super smart and hit new. Now I just created a command buy super smart, and now I'm going to go ahead and create the parameters for this buy super smart order. I'm going to choose buy. I'm going to have no preferred markets, and all these settings I'll go over more in another webinar. I could be here for a while going over all these, and they're all within the manual. If you went into super smart, if you're unfamiliar with this, it's worth reviewing. But I'm going to go ahead and just set up a very basic one. This is just going to go to buy at the ask on the inside without going through the market or anything for my tier size. And that's just by with what I have right here, nothing fancy. So as I hit done, you'll see that I just created a buy super smart command. Now, in order to use that buy super smart command, I would go into the keyboard, and now I'd go under custom commands, and you'll see the buy super smart order that I just created. Now, if I wanted to make that Shift W, like before, I would hit the W on the keyboard. Shift W is available. I just highlight it, hit Map, Buy Super Smart, hit OK. Then when I'm in my active level 2 window, the Cisco right now, as I hit Shift W, it went right to the market to buy at 1667, which I guess was there when I hit it. Let's see. I have it set up here. I must have had this set up wrong here. Let me just check one thing. I chose the target as the bid, so I was going in at the bid price here. I'll make it the offer. I'll change it to the offer, and you'll see now as I hit Shift W, it goes in at 75 with the offer price. So there are a lot of settings in there to do, but it's nice to give you the ability to customize any order that you want. You can be as aggressive as you want. You can name it however you want, and then you can map them wherever you want on the keyboard. So it's pretty much unlimited however you want to send orders with any parameters that you want within Lightspeed. Now, the last thing we'll go over is, we went over a little bit before, I flashed over to it, but the options page on here. It's pretty self-explanatory also. The options I have set up here with an options chain at the top. With the options chain, you can show what options you want to see within the options chain by choosing from these drop-downs. You can choose all dates, near dates, or whatever month of the options that you want to view. For here, we'll choose the near date and near money. So these options will be expiring on the 29th of June, and these are near the money right now. So you'll see since Cisco is at 1675, these strikes are the near money. Excuse me. So if I wanted to double click and see any of the quotes of that specific option, you'll see that it goes into the options quote window in here, and you'll see the different bids and asks for that specific option. Here we're viewing June 29, 2012, 16 calls on Cisco. Now if I wanted to place an order in that option, I would go into the options order entry window, which is to the right here. This window looks very similar to the order entry window for equities, but it gives you a couple more things here that you'd need to enter for options. You'll see sell to open or sell to close. It'll give you the inside bid and ask, just like the equities one. Buy to open or close. Shows you the underlier, the expiration, which you have the ability to change. Also the strike, which you have the ability to change from here. But by just double-clicking on any of the underliers, you'll see that it'll automatically preload any of that information. Then you'll choose put or call, which automatically selects based on whatever you have double-clicked and linked through to your options quote window and your options order entry. You can adjust the number of contracts with the arrows and your limit price. You can select the order type and market, time and force. By hitting go, it's going to send that order to the market. So say you just go, you'll see it'll pop up confirm. I have this set up in my settings for trading under confirms for options, so I won't hit anything by accident. I'll give me an extra chance to review. This is exactly the type of order I want to send, and by hitting yes, it's going to send that order in. Now you'll see as I go back, I don't have an orders page on this window yet, but if I go back to my other page, you'll see here's my options order that's pending. So I'll right-click and cancel, and we're out on that. So that pretty much covers, in a quick rundown there, most anything, the basics of Lightspeed. Peter, do we have any questions pending?
We just have one so far, but typically the way this works is when we open it up for questions, some other ones materialize, and I would encourage anybody that does have any questions, now would be a good time to type them into your chat window. So before I ask the question, I just want to remind you guys, I know that Chris went through that. It can be kind of a little overwhelming if it's the first time you're seeing it. But just rest assured that these webinars are archived, and you can play them back as often as you'd like and pause them and, at your convenience. So that's typically what a lot of people do when they're seeing them for the first time. But okay, so here's a couple of questions. First, Chris, can you explain the difference between a buy tier and a market buy tier?
A buy tier will go on the inside only. So if you just choose buy tier, it's going to go, for example, if I chose buy tier in Cisco, I'm only going to be eligible to buy the 75-cent here. It's not going to go to the 76. But if I chose market buy tier, it's going to go ahead and say if I had 1,000 shares for both, on my regular buy tier, I'm only going to get this 400, and then the other 600 isn't going to go further because it's not within the inside market. The buy limit now, the buy market will go ahead and get the next until it would take part of this 5,000 and give me the other 600 at 76 until I'm filled for the market order, just like the difference between a market and a limit.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so here's another question, and it's kind of a loaded question because there's different types of stop orders. But the question that was phrased was, Chris, can you show how to put in a stop order?
Yeah, well, like Pete said, that's kind of something we cover on another webinar, but I'll go over real quick. There are multiple types of stop orders and multiple ways to enter stop orders. We send stop orders, stop markets to the New York Stock Exchange. You can do that through the order entry window or through the keyboard. For the order entry window, you would choose type, and you'd choose stop, and then you'd choose, you have to have a New York stock in here. So say I would choose type, stop, and then market S dot. That would send a stop market order to the New York Stock Exchange. You also have the ability to send orders that go to Edge A. Those are managed by Edge A off of the Lightspeed Trader platform, and you also have the ability to have local stop orders that are managed within the Lightspeed client where they reside locally here, where Lightspeed waits for the print to go off and then we'll send you order to the market. Any of these orders for stops can be sent through the order entry window, and in addition to that, you also have the ability to set them up through the keyboard. you'll see as we go through the keyboard, you'll see the S dot stop bid commands. Those will send them to the New York, and you'll also see the stop bid tier, which will send them to Edge A. And in addition to that, you also, from the custom orders, you can set up stop keys, which are the ones that will reside on the Lightspeed Trader client. Where one thing to note between the difference between those different stop orders that's very important is the ones that you customize here that reside on Lightspeed. Once you send a stop order, that order is not going anywhere until that print goes off. So you can't just send an order and then log off Lightspeed, go to lunch, and think if it trades through your price, your order is going to get sent. Lightspeed needs to stay up and monitor those prints to make sure that when that goes off, it's going to send it to the market. So if you log off while that local stop order is, or a custom stop order is out there, it's never going to get triggered. So you need to leave the Lightspeed logged in. The other two are managed by the venue, either New York Stock Exchange or Edge A. So that's just something to note. And it's also mentioned within, if anyone wanted any further details on those stop orders, you spend some time in the manual. It'll show you all the different advantages to the different types of stop orders. It'll summarize all that for you there.
Great. Thanks, Chris. I have another gentleman who's asking questions about GTC orders, and I just want to clarify that there are some technical reasons why there are limits on GTC orders at this time. They have to deal with some remote connectivity scenarios for clients. Lightspeed's working on implementing a type of GTC order for later this summer that we'll discuss in another webinar. It's technical reasons why we have that. And then another gentleman is asking, and I'll answer this question, about splitting trading, demo mode and real mode in the same scenario. And we pretty much, just for simplicity of trader ID maintenance and accounting reasons and some other compliance reasons, we pretty much have trader ID set to either live or not live mode, and not really mixing between the two. And there's some accounting reasons why. If the gentleman who's asking that question is interested in some more details about how to do what you're asking about, I'd invite you to contact our trade desk tomorrow at 1-888-577-3123, and we'll walk you through that. Okay, are there any other questions that Chris or I can answer at this time? Okay. Again, I just want to remind the audience that there's a ton of educational information about how to interact with Lightspeed Trader and all the different configurable settings and different order types and different order scenarios that we've covered in previous webinars and will cover again in future live webinars. All of the webinars that we hold, we archive and we put them on our website, and you can easily access them through lightspeed.com/webinars, and you'll see a whole library of them. And you can look around and see which ones are of interest to you. And I would definitely encourage you to play them back at your leisure. You can pause them, play them back, rewind them. It's a real good tool, a way to learn how to interact with our platform. We're committed to trader education here at Lightspeed, and we always will be, and these webinars are just one form of that. So we're going to be scheduling some webinars for the summer over the next week or so, and I would definitely encourage the audience here to sign up for them. They're free, and they're a good tool to learn. Having said that, we have a number of support desks here at Lightspeed that are happy to take your calls about how to optimize your experience with Lightspeed. And I just want to thank Chris for another excellent webinar, and I'd like to thank the audience for listening and hopefully learning more about our software. And we look forward to seeing you on another webinar real soon. And with that, I guess I'll bring this webinar to a close, and again, thank the audience for their participation.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Peter.
Okay, Chris, thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.